I had made a promise to come back during the week, well, in the middle of the week. So here I am. I do not have a migraine anymore. It's now a headache, and I know it still hurts, right? But I'll take headache over migraine though. But how are you? Um, Something great. I have a few more subscribers. That's amazing. And yeah, I have a few more um, viewers. I gotta get used to these YouTube things. I'm still new to that. But I wanted to share that, a few more people has joined our family. A few more people has decided that they're gonna stick around and do the work on themselves the best way that they can. And I appreciate that. So shout out to y'all. And um I have a few videos you guys can watch. It's not that much. It just started out. But either way, what we do here is we try to, well, we are trying, but the intention here is to get to meet ourselves, like everything about us, front and center. And it's not necessarily easy because there's a lot of apologizing, and it's not easy at all. But we are trying to be more healthy with our choices and our time and our consumption, like all of that. So yeah, I hope that's something that you'd be interested in really working on. I know it's easier said than done. I know we're gonna have like crappy days when we just don't want to do it. Trust me, I have those days, but I stick to it because I already know the other versions of me and how they're gonna react. I know what it's like to go back to my safe space. So this time I'm like, let's see what life is like without the safe space. So please take that risk with me. I know I'm asking you for something that is so intimate, like so personal, but I wouldn't ask you if I didn't think it was possible. Okay? Trust me, I think a lot. So I have processed a million different reasons why it probably won't work. But there were some reasons why it could. So thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. Um I wanted to talk about us being healthy because I realize I know nothing about being healthy, at least in an emotional and mental way. I have no clue. Like, to me, I thought the things I was doing were pretty normal, but people are gonna give you their feedback on you whether you ask or not. So I've heard all my feedbacks. I just didn't really care. But now that I'm trying to get to know me and see what I'm all about, I'm trying to be healthy for me. I'm like, I know that myself deserves the better me. So how about I make me me that I deserve? You get what I'm saying? Like how sometimes we meet people and I mean, when you look at it, people that we date, people that we are friends with, even our family, like they're just total strangers one day that we gave a title and then they became our entire world. Isn't that crazy? So when we get to meet someone, we want to know them and we want to pray that it works out because oh my God, I've never felt like this before and I don't want to do this one thing and it backfires, but it feels so good, right? We've been in those predicaments and sometimes they worked out, which is why it's probably your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your spouse, just someone with a importantly engraved title. and you like it. You decided one day to take a chance on this person, and it was amazing. And it's one of the riskiest things you've ever done, but you did it and it worked out. So we're applying that same mentality, same approach to us with ourselves. So we're gonna meet us, get to know us, fall in love with us, and just enjoy it as we go along. Some days are gonna be messy. Some days are gonna be like, what the hell is going on? And some days you're just gonna be smiling from ear to ear. And you know what? I'm kind of in the mood for all of that. I want to get to I want to get to know what that's like 100%. So, yeah, let's dive into healthy. How did I approach being healthy for myself? Well, um in order to bring my shadow self to the forefront, I had to get quite vulnerable with me. I didn't want to. I ignored it, but I had to, at least some aspects for now, because there are so many things that I haven't tried healing from as yet, because maybe it's just a little bit too sensitive. Like on the day to day, I'm like cool, but like if I really think about it, like when you start applying meaning to the things that are actually traumatic that you've been a part of, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, it messes with your mind. Okay, and you don't know if you can really dive into that now. So you barely have enough strength because you just started this journey with yourself, right? Which meant that the little tiny amount of strength that you had, you said, you know what, I'm gonna just do this wild thing and take a bet on me and see if it works out. So there's a little bit of the energy that you had, you put it into you. And as you go by day to day, it expands a little bit. And then sometimes we have some setbacks and it takes away again. And then beautiful things happen and it opens up a little bit. Devastating things happen and it takes away. But what I'm trying to say is we still have more energy than we started out with. And so, with that small amount of energy, you can't just overpower it with a surge of traumas, because you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to back out of this journey. Trust me, I've done it countless times, guilty as hell. But because I know that it's a possibility, I don't want to overstimulate you too soon. Okay? So there are things that are a little bit more sensitive for us to dive into, a little bit more too real, too fresh, too big. And I don't want you to go against it with the small amount of strength that you are barely surviving with. I hope that makes sense. I'm not saying I don't believe in you. I'm saying I believe in you. But if we're really gonna get to know ourselves and if we're really gonna work on ourselves, then we have to be a little bit more delicate with this growth process, because it is a lot. Okay? Please, please. So, in being healthy and pulling my shadow self to the front, I had to figure out what I might like and what I might not like. So I tried little things, as I was stating in some previous videos. I went for a walk. I started and stopped gym sessions. Now I'm more consistent. Um, I try reading. I actually even tried going to the gun range because I have so much anger, and I'm like, maybe if I target it, like if I put it, if I put it in something that I don't know, I get to express freely, then maybe it won't be so bad. But in doing that, I also fell in love with the process of self defense. And I was like, okay. So then I figured out something that I liked, based on something random. And I treat myself to little um, trips to the gun range. And then I try to, you know, decide, okay, after a few times has passed, do I still like this thing? Do I not? And then it turned out to give two positives actually, because yes, you found something that you kind of like and you're intrigued by, but you learned something about yourself that you could also use in the real world should it get to that point. Please don't um please don't be reckless when it comes to guns, please. So what I took away from that was I learned how to defend myself in the event that I needed to, and I learned something that I liked about myself. So that was pretty interesting. um I've realized that I am more homey than ever, and not as in friend. I mean, I like being home. Like I've always been introverted. I've always been reserved. I've always been the girl that if you make plans with me, to be fair, I'm not gonna. I am happy when you get to cancel those plans for whatever reasons. I am delighted. I'm not saying that I accepted to go to these places with y'all because I was being pitiful towards you. No. I'm saying that I agreed to go because chances are this is like your 100th time asking me, 100th time asking me to come. And I probably ran out of excuses. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go. Like, I am that terrible. I promise you, like, the people in my life, man, they deserve and they deserve to have a trophy. I don't like leaving my house. I will find every reason to stay in. I promise you. Promise you. I don't even want to go on my patio. That's how crazy it is. So for me right now, I try to do little things like going on my patio, and I know sunlight is important. So I've incorporated that too. So the sun shines directly on the patio. So I go out and I do it in small doses because I have really bad anxiety and I don't want to just submerge myself into just going out with, or I mean, even, yeah, going out with a whole bunch of people that I don't even know, or going to places filled with a bunch of people that I don't even know, because my anxiety level, it rises and I have to be taking frequent bathroom breaks to tell myself I'm okay. I'm okay. So I go because I've probably told you a million times, no, I'm not coming. And this time I was like, okay, I have no more excuses. I can't use this same excuse, so I'll just go. And then it turns out that you say, hey, Jade, I can't even make it. I ain't even mad. I'll be like, it's okay. Life happens. I understand. I ain't even gonna make you try to feel bad about it. I like it. I know that's not nice, guys. Please go out with y'all's friends. I don't know. I've always just liked being home. And I grew up in a family filled with siblings and family members and family friends. And if you glimpse me for a good second or two, oh, you are lucky, because I promise you that by the time you blink, I am gone again. That's how terrible I was. I don't know why I'm like that, but I really just I like my own space, my own time. And I don't know. So yes, I ended up trying to do little things like going on my patio and probably going for a walk to the mailbox, or probably going to the gym in proper daylight hours, if that makes sense. Like, I will go either early in the morning when no one is there, or late at night when no one is there. So nowadays, I try to go with, there's a chance that there might be 2 to 4 people in the gym, and that's like in the, yeah, I'll leave it at 2 to 4 people. And I know it sounds like that's still a small amount of people, but I have to calculate my daily, weekly, monthly, yearly intake of people. I'm not kidding, because I just it has always been such a thing for me. So now when I'm doing that, it sounds so simple, but it works for me. I'm doing it the healthy way. I know we're ripping the band-aids off, but I do not want you to dive in too fast, too deep, because you're going to get frustrated. You're going to feel like what you're doing is not important work. You're going to feel like it is pointless, and you're going to want to tap out and be like, I ain't doing this, Jade. So, yeah, we are doing it healthy, bit by bit. Now, in the healthy stage of you getting to know you, there is something very important for you to understand. You are going to want to have people clapping for you, cheering you on, showing up, supporting you, whatever support even looks like for you. You are definitely, you're going to want that. And sometimes the people that you wanted from, because of the role that they play in your life, you're going to think automatically they'll just give it. A harsh realization is when you find out for a fact that you're not getting their support. When your loyalty would have made you just automatically support a person, not everyone thinks and views things the same way you do. But it's not entirely bad. Sometimes we feel a little bit entitled, like, well, you're my friend, so how dare you not support me? But someone doesn't have to support you based off their title. But you have to believe in the reason why you even deserve support in the first place. And if you find the reason that you deserve support, I hope it's coming from you. I hope you're not thinking that somebody else's support of you and your dream is more important than you supporting yourself. I get that sometimes we would want people to have our backs a certain kind of way, but that's not their job. It is your job to defend you, to protect you, to stand up for you, and to show up for you. That's nobody else's job, regardless of their role, regardless of whatever pedestal you might put them on, regardless of what you would have done. You have to accept people being people. But you know what your dream means to you. You know what your goal is, and you know what this journey means for you. So you got to show up for you. Screw what people ain't doing for you. This is not about them. This is about you. This is your journey. And sometimes we do have friends that, of course, they support you. Of course, they believe in you. But respect is earned regardless of who you are. So if you know that someone has to earn your respect, then there's nothing wrong if you got to earn theirs. It's a two-way street. So sometimes we do have friends who are hard on us because they also see our potential and they also see that we can handle it. But when the time is right and the main event is right there, they'll show up. They will. But you got to know your circle like that. You got to know the people who are around you to know that they're just not going to accept any crap that you come with, because some people this month they have a vision, next month they have a different goal, the other month they have a you wear those people out. So yes, they're probably a little bit hard on you because you can't even stick to a plan. You can't even stick to something that you claim you want. So every time they got up and they supported you, the next time they see you, you're like, oh yeah, girl, I'm done with that. I find out I didn't really like it. They have feelings too. And you're probably just so used to them being in your corner that you do take them for granted. Again, it comes to knowing your circle. If you do not know the people around you, then your mind will go places like, is she not supporting me because she's envious and I'm doing better and da da da. But if you know your people who you surround yourself with, you'll know that now that she will know when I'm there, because she's always been a rock for me on days when I wasn't a rock for myself. You have friends who knows you, who knows what you deserve, who knows what you need to do to get to where you need to be. You have people like that, but not everybody's like that. So it's healthy when you know the people around you so that their actions, it won't bother you a certain kind of way because you know what they represent and they know what your standards are. Healthy. Yes, people are envious. Some people don't want you to win. Some people want to see you doing good but never better. I get that. But know the people around you. You are trusting yourself to them. You are given a very unfiltered, unedited version of you when you establish trust with someone. So, yes, for whoever you're sharing you with, please get to know them. If it is the case where you truly want to be surrounded, because you can meet all the great people all you want. If you're closed off, then it don't matter what they say. And I am like that. I am both ways. I am closed off and I'm also understanding of the people I spend my time with. So, you know, I am liking the healthy me because it pushes my perspective on things, you know, and I get to just comprehend the lessons that comes with life without applying it too personally to get myself riled up over whatever fantasies I created in my head that half the time probably doesn't even happen. Okay? So yes, in becoming healthy, I learned the people around me. I shared my time how I wanted to. So I'll leave that. I don't want to spiral too much. But healthy you is beautiful. And a lot of times people don't break down how hard it gets when you decide to be healthy. When you have healthy friendships, when you have healthy family members, when you have healthy friends, when you have healthy relationships regarding like your partner or whoever, no one talks about how much it messes with you emotionally, mentally, because what do you mean you won't block me? What do you mean we're just having a disagreement? What do you mean we get over it in 15 minutes by just addressing the problem and finding solutions? What do you mean that's actually possible? I'm used to it. I'm used to fighting just to get my point across. I'm used to yelling the loudest so that you can just hear me. So, what do you mean you're sitting me down now and saying, okay, let's talk about it? What am I supposed to do with all the anger that I would normally have? Like, why are you so calm? Why is this a calm situation? I don't understand. No one talks about how healthy affects you. It messes with your mind because you're so used to the toxicity that you're just like, is this person playing with me? And now you start watching everything. Because it's like your mind, you already knew that it was possible for this to happen, but it probably happened so randomly, like you least expected it. So even though you're happy that it's happening, you're skeptic because you're just like, are you just waiting for me to let my guards down and then I just completely crash and then you laugh in my face and say, ha ha ha, you thought? It messes with you. So I hope that you can understand what I'm saying here. Healthy is good, but it starts off weird. Because sometimes you just sit there with all this anger and nowhere to put it. Because you were expecting a whirlwind of problems. And instead, all you got was solutions. And you're just sitting there like, oh, now I feel dumb. But then you're like, are you really dumb? Or are you just really like, are you about to get hurt? Is the universe playing a trick on me? Like, is it just waiting for me to just make the biggest joke of myself? And so when you have to sit with yourself and calm that anxiety and just really believe that everything that you envisioned is happening little by little, man, it's so beautifully messy and chaotic and strong, but it's priceless and it's yours. And man, everybody deserves that level of growth, that level of healing inside, not just outside. And so healthy me is getting to know me and accepting me and figuring out what I like. And I might listen to a different genre of songs. I might try to find random artists and hear their story. through their music, their life, and um, you travel there with them. And sometimes you realize that it's like everyone lived the same life. Everyone went through the same thing for a moment in time. And they're expressing it the best way they can. And your best way right now for expressing it is listening to them, consuming the knowledge that they're pouring out, and applying it to the aspects of your life that desperately needs it. Because yourself, man, when you start to meet that girl or that boy, you're just gonna be like, what took me so long? But I don't want you to beat yourself up. You know, sometimes things happen exactly how they're supposed to, because there's always a takeaway. There's a positive takeaway and there's a negative takeaway to everything that we experience in this life. How you choose to process it, how you choose to apply it, how you choose to go by it, that's on you. That's your call, you know? And another aspect of the healthy you is praying. And if you're not a spiritual person, meditating. You know, you have people who just, I don't know, they don't really believe that there is a God. And that's not for me to judge or disrespect or anything like that. Everybody has their reason to do what they do and to believe what they believe. And I am not in any position to take that away from nobody. All I can say is whatever has been helping you has been helping you, because you were meant for more than this current moment that you're going through. Okay? So, me, I pray. I pray. I try my best to always give thanks. Always be grateful, no matter what it is. Even on my worst days when I'm mad, I probably just vent first and let it out and be furious as long as I want to. And then after that, when I get all of that out of my system, I sit and I try to be logical about it. I try to see what lesson I was supposed to learn from what just happened. And, you know, I talk to what I believe in. And I'm like, you know what? Cool, maybe I went about it all wrong. Or, you know what? I don't think I went about it wrong. I think I went about it the best way. And then this is the result. You know, like I let it out. Some people like to journal. You can do that. Some people, I have an iPhone, so sometimes I do voice memos, because yeah, writing is cool and all, but I like to remember the way I sounded when I was going through what I'm going through, to see how much I have either faltered or leveled up, like when I listen to it again sometime after, to see if it's kind of like, not necessarily like a love note to your future self, but I vent in that moment using my voice memo, and then I release it, as in save it. And then when I'm done, I go back in my same voice memo and I provide my logical reason for whatever just happened. And maybe a year after or months after, I'd be like randomly going through my phone and I might click on one of them and I'm like, whoa, girl, that was crazy. Or I'm like, I'm proud of you, because before you even knew what a year forward would have brought, you still remained as your true self. And so that's pretty much what I'm trying to say, is being healthy means that you're gonna just try to find better ways to tackle things as opposed to your typical way. Because sometimes your typical way doesn't end well for you or for both of you, depending on whatever or whoever the person is or whatever the situation is, you know? So being healthy just it requires you to stop blaming others. There are many people sometimes that we can blame for things and places that we end up in that we probably wouldn't have been had it just been us using our common senses, you know? And fine, if you feel like you need to apply blame because the blame fits perfectly for the situation, cool. I can't take that away from you. But after you're done blaming them, you look at it with logic and understanding, acknowledge and accept the part that you played, and then you find an approach to come back at it. And if it's something that you're not going to go back at, sit with yourself, digest what happened, and be like, all right, this thing made me so mad. Why did it even make me so mad? And why that small thing? Because sometimes we turn around and it's something so small, something so minute, and you're like, why did that one thing, though, that tiny thing, just unravel all my trials? Like everything that I've built, why did that one thing spiral for me? And sometimes when we do that, when we approach it that way, then we realize that it's probably a little part of us that needs some healing, or a little thing that caused something traumatic that we probably suppressed. Because when we suppress things, sometimes they're gone. Some people, they literally go to things to the point where their brain gets split and they just can't remember. And in that case, sometimes it's good to not remember such traumatic things. But sometimes for the ones of us who, no matter how far we push it, every now and then it finds its way to the surface. When that keeps happening, where every now and then it finds its way to the surface, then that's an indication that we need to confront it. We need to sit with it, and we need to see why this little thing was able to put a rip in everything that you've established for yourself for all of these years. And you will find the answer, but it depends on the mindset that you apply. I don't know you personally. I don't know what you have to survive. I don't know what you had to do. But blaming someone, it's not going to change the situation. And I'm not saying that you should just drop things like it wasn't hard for you. It was. Probably still is. But okay, you're sitting there and you're blaming the person and you're blaming this and you're blaming that. What next? After you ran out of blame and words to say and things of that nature, what next? What happens after you blame them? Are you going to punch them? Are you going to kick them? Are you going to end them? What is it? What happens next? Now you've let it all out. What happens next? What are you going to do? So what I'm just trying to say is don't exert too much of your energy. We are focusing on ourselves. The little energy that we have is for ourselves, so we have to spend it wisely on the scenarios that occurs in our day-to-day life. Okay? So I'm not saying just let people slide and accept disrespect. No. Stand on your boundaries. Stand up for yourself. Stand firm in your decision, even if it's breaking your heart. Shut the door on it if you need to, because you are now the most important person. You've always been, but you kind of let everything else consume you because maybe you felt like being you meant that you were flexing on people. No, you're just you. And some people, they won't like it. Some people, no matter how much you explain your intentions and your heart and who you are, they're not in the mood to accept, so it doesn't really matter what you say. So why you keep wasting your words? You know what your heart is. You're gonna hear rumors about you. You're gonna hear so many things about you that's like it's jaw dropping, and you're gonna be like, I didn't even know that about myself. Are you crazy? What? And yes, sometimes you feel like your back is against the wall, so you have to defend yourself because this is just outlandish. This is just crazy. I can't front you for that. I did that. I explained myself. I defended myself. I used my words. I used my actions. People are going to believe what they want to believe about you. Even if the right answer is staring them in the face, a lot of times you are a person's insecurity. And they see something in you that they can never represent in themselves, so they need to tear you down so they can feel better. And guess what? You're letting them win. You're letting them win because you're letting it affect you. The amount of things I've heard about myself, man, I just be eating popcorn and be like, tell me more. And what else I did? What happened next? Go ahead. I'm not going to defend myself anymore because I don't need to prove a point to you. I will always stand up for myself. But I don't need to argue you down about what your viewpoint of me should be. I don't need to prove nothing to you. I know who I am. I am who I say I am. And I'm going to continue being who I know I am. And it's going to piss you off. And you're going to say more things. And guess what? I'm still going to be breathing. I'm still going to be surviving. And I'm still going to be experiencing everything about me because I am me. In every aspect. But you don't get the power to tell me who I should be because I intimidate you. That has nothing to do with me, love. That's between you and you. But over here, I'm doing me. And I'm loving it. Unapologetically you. Every day. Even if it means standing alone. But you can't abandon you anymore. You can't keep putting yourself last. You can't be putting people's opinions of you above you. Do you know who you are? You better stand up. You better represent. Because I need that. I love you for you. And I've met a wide variety of people, and they have things that if I wasn't strong in who I am, I'd be so lost and I'd be so swept up in. But I don't care what you have, because the most valuable thing you'll ever possess is me, and you can't get that. So I'm cool on you. Being healthy is beautiful, but you gotta come face to face with yourself. You gotta accept everything that you've been a part of, everything that you've been privy to, everything about everything that has to do with you. Yes, you, and it's life. Who's meant for you will always support you. So you don't need somebody to clap for you so that you can feel like your moment in time matters. But if you want to be logical, you have to build a home from the ground up. You have to start buying materials a bit at a time. Build your foundation a bit at a time. Do everything that's necessary to build a house a bit at a time. And then you put your furnitures in and all your beautiful sets for your home a step at a time. What I'm trying to say is right now you're doing it from the ground up. So it doesn't feel like you have a lot of support. And that's okay. It feels like you're not winning because you probably don't have all these things that you think makes you successful. You have yourself and you have health. You are the wealthiest person I know. You're healthy medically, physically, and you're here. You're wealthy. And you're going to add to your wealth, and you're going to do this in abundance by fixing yourself mentally and emotionally. All your inner peace and all of this that you're going after, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be possible, but it starts with you clapping for you. If you go to the game, people don't get trophies before the game. They get it after they win. If you go to school, if you go to college, you don't get your degree on the first day of school. You get it after you've completed. What I'm trying to say is everything happens a step at a time. You just have to keep working. And if you're using school as an example, you have nights when assignments are just killing you and you're like, oh my God, why did I sign up for school? And sometimes, no matter how much you put your best into your work, your professor looks at you and say, that's not enough. And you just feel lost and dazed and confused. You go back to the drawing board. And you come and you present your work differently. And you keep going to your classes. And before you know it, it's time for you to graduate. It's time for you to receive all your honors and your degrees and whatever it is that you're signing up for. So right now, doing the dirty work, that's you doing it a step at a time. And then one day you get there when you finally just love you and you just keep accomplishing everything that is successfully yours. And people, they will cheer for you. You will get the trophy. You will get the degree. You will get you, but you gotta do it a step at a time. Okay? Healthy is possible. Your brain health and your emotional health is on you. I can come here and I can talk to you for hours, but if you're not willing to make the change and to start the process and to do what's necessary for you, it won't matter what I say to you. I know what it feels like feeling like you're alone. And I know what it feels like when you feel like things are working out. And I know when you close your eyes, you see things working out. But you poison yourself against it Why do you do that? That's, you don't do that. Your time is valuable. Your energy, your force, that's all you. But it's you. Okay? You know, one thing about being healthy, well, an additional thing, because everything I've been saying pertains to getting healthy. And I'm going to say this and then I'm going to go because this video is long as hell. One thing about being healthy is that one day you wake up and yes, you lose people, but you meet some other people that just loves you as you are. And it's mind blowing because you're like, what? Imagine how much you're so caught up in restricting yourself right now that you can't even fathom that there are people out there waiting to love you that just haven't met you yet because you've held yourself back. Please stop doing that. Love exists. Love is you. And love comes from people and places and things that sometimes you never thought possible. But there are so many people waiting to meet you. Sometimes you got to give them a chance, take a risk. But the number one person is you. And when you start meeting you and falling in love with you, your only distasteful thing is going to be that it took you so long. But don't rush it. Don't pressure yourself. And you got this. I probably didn't say my name. So I'm Jade. I'm going to end this episode here because I don't want to bore you too much with my endless yapping, okay? To my subscribers, to my viewers, to whoever is just passing by, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share some of your time. Your time is very valuable, and it meant a lot to know that I could sit and probably catch your attention for just a little bit. In fact, it means a lot to be able to be in your presence. So thank you so much. I still have to get used to saying like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fancy stuff. But really, that don't matter to me that much. What matters to me is you, or community, or support, but mostly just you. Okay? So until next time, I'll talk to you later.